A really long time ago, aliens used people's bodies to lock up their troublemaker friends. But here's the thing, humans didn't have a clue about this. Back in the year 1380, there was this secret team of fighters wearing masks. They were after this woman who was acting super weird. Suddenly a big crack showed up in the sky, and a car zipped out of it. Two robots, Thunder and Guard, hopped out of the car. Their job was to catch aliens who sneaked out of their human hiding spots and to keep Earth safe. Guard used this cool glowing blade to get the alien out of the woman. But here's the sad part. The lady didn't make it. She left behind her little baby girl. Later, they zoom back to 2012, and Guard locks up the alien in a special cell at his place where he keeps others like it. But surprise, Thunder brought back the baby girl. Guard's now stuck taking care of her until the next bunch of baddies show up in 10 years. Fast forward to 1391, there's this wizard named Murok. He's using his magic to nab criminals shown on wanted posters and cash in on the rewards. Today's crooks are a handful, but Murok's got tons of tricks up his sleeve. He even summons warrior catmen from his fan. He nabs the thieves, hands them over to the cops, and collects his reward. Without wasting time, he's already eyeing the next targets on his list. In the mix of posters, there's this one offering a massive reward for an exotic dagger. The moment Murok spots the drawing, he gets these strange flashbacks of a guy in the woods and a girl on the beach. Even with the odd memories, he decides to take the job. His next move? The local prison, where a guy named Dong Ai might know something. Murok cooks up this plan. He pretends to be Dong Ai's son to get permission to visit him, and slyly nabs the cell key using his magic. Once inside, he spills the beans to Dong Ai and offers the key in exchange for some info. Turns out, the blade surfaced in a fishing net a few months back. The fisherman sold it to a former bigwig, who now runs an inn in the city. So, Murok and his catmen hit the city streets. As they search for the inn, they notice this dude Sweeter, rocking some seriously weird clothes. As Murok and his catmen stroll into the inn, they meet Hyun-gam, the ex-magistrate. But Hyun-gam isn't thrilled about Murok's questions. He busts out his own powers and freezes Murok right in his tracks. Upstairs, Hyun-gam meets Sweeter, who claims to know all about the mysterious blade. Using their feline stealth, Murok and his catmen manage to sneak upstairs. There, they find Sweeter attacking Hyun-gam with the blade. It tumbles to the floor after Hyun-gam wrestles it away. Dong Ai, who's also now in the inn, snatches the blade as soon as it hits the ground and bolts. Sweeter starts chasing him down, while Murok checks on Hyun-gam. The ex-magistrate warns Murok not to wake him. Murok notices a bounty listing for Sweeter on Hyun-gam's person, and decides to go after him. However, Murok's attacks barely scratch Sweeter. Tentacles or not, Sweeter just smacks Murok into a wall until he passes out. The catmen swoop in to rescue poor Murok. Peering through a hole in the wall, they spot something unexpected. A spaceship stuck in the river. Seems like the drought might have brought it up, but wait, there's more. Strange noises from the trees hint that someone's lurking nearby. When they toss a torch in that direction, all they catch is a glimpse of a lady dressed in red darting off. Meanwhile, in 2022, Guard's stuck attending meetings with Yeon's teachers because this 10-year-old keeps stirring up trouble with her tales of aliens and robots. Lucky for Guard, nobody really believes her stories. Yeon seems to hold on to a few memories from when she was younger, making that mind-altering trick they use on folks not so effective on her. Another headache for Guard at Yeon's school is Kai-ai, Min-sun's aunt, who keeps trying to hit on Guard, but Guard's totally ignoring her advances. After Yeon finishes her classes, Guard chauffeurs her back home. While in the car, she sneaks a second phone into a hidden compartment in the seats. When they reach home, Yeon hops out, but she's slyly tuned into Guard's conversations thanks to that sneaky second phone. She catches wind of Guard discussing this convoy arriving the next day, set to implant 107 humans. At 9 p.m., Guard heads out for the night. Curiosity gets the better of Yeon, leading her back to the car to retrieve her secret phone. But, oops, she accidentally stumbles upon some alien tech tucked away in the vehicle. Thunder, realizing the jig is up, reveals himself to prevent Yeon from meddling with it. Now, of course, Yeon's loaded with questions. So, Thunder spills the beans about the aliens and Yeon's time-traveling origins. Right then, a new message buzzes in, indicating the next implantation spot will be a hospital. The next day, Yeon heads to the hospital, armed with her recording device to document everything in case her memories get wiped later. In the midst of her recording, she accidentally collides with Officer Do-seok, who advises her to be more careful. Suddenly, a colossal spaceship materializes in the sky, dropping a peculiar stone in the middle of the hospital. This stone morphs into a cocoon, unleashing tentacles that target every human present for alien implantation. Do-seok gets caught in the mix, but Yeon miraculously escapes. Guard, observing the chaos, spots Yeon dashing out of the hospital. As the spaceship departs, he retrieves the stone, and life resumes for everyone else, as if nothing extraordinary occurred. Fast forward to 1391, Muruk and his catmen are still on the hunt for Sweeter. Eventually, they stumble upon the ramshackle shack he had been occupying. Inside, they discover a note from a temple instructing Sweeter to steal the blade. A painted scene on the wall portrays the spaceship in the river, a swarm of aliens, and thunder. Over at the temple, it turns out that Sweeter's workplace is the secret hub of the masked warriors. Today, the mages Huxiol and Chungwoon drop by, flaunting their magical goodies to impress the leader Jia Zhang. However, Jia Zhang couldn't care less about their enchantments. He's fixated on that glowing blade. He hires the mages to retrieve it, and they're game for the challenge. Meanwhile, in the city, Muruk sniffs out details about a noble family that acquired the coveted blade. He concocts a plan, kidnapping the groom and stealing his clothes to infiltrate the family wedding. Muruk goes through the ceremony posing as the groom. In a private moment with the bride, he senses a familiarity about her, oblivious to the fact that she's the Red Lady from the night by the river. Unbeknownst to Muruk, she's also in disguise as the bride. As Muruk contemplates the strange object he found under her skirt, the lady assures him not to worry and casually pours some tea. Muruk, feeling a bit off after sipping the tea, excuses himself from the ceremony. His catmen relay news about the blade being in the family's storehouse. He ventures in but starts feeling worse, hiding as he watches Red Lady enter, also on the hunt for the blade. As fate would have it, the mages arrive, pressuring the family leader to hand over the blade using their magic. Struggling due to the effects of whatever was in the tea, Muruk drags himself back to the room and realizes Red Lady's pretense. She's the cause of his predicament. Despite his weakened state, he grasps her deceit and her involvement in his condition. Red Lady coolly suggests he just sleep it off. Outside, chaos ensues as Red Lady takes on the masked warriors using her blend of martial arts and gunfire, revealing her formidable skills in combat. When the boss brings the special blade, Red Lady grabs it for herself. She faces off against the mages, who try to trick her with an invisibility cloak, but she's too smart for their trick and fights back. Using the blade, she cuts them, and then uses a loud gunshot to hurt them. She shoots one in the arm, and makes a loud noise that hurts the other's ears. Red Lady tries to escape with the blade, but suddenly, the masked warriors sneak up and knock her out. They grab her and the blade, but drop a gun during the scuffle. A little while later, the catmen show up and rescue Muruk, taking him away with them and grabbing the gun on their way out. In 2022, Yi-an crashes at Min-sun's place and shares the hospital videos with her. Unfortunately, Ki overhears their chat. Guard finds out where Yi-an is, but doesn't want to deal with Ki's flirting, so he sends Thunder to bring Yi-an back. Once home, Yi-an demands answers, and Thunder steps up to explain why they do these implantations. It's all about keeping peace in the universe. There's a catch though. The aliens can only leave human bodies for 5 minutes, or else they won't survive Earth's atmosphere. Yi-an's not okay with humans being used like this without their say, but no one really listens to her concerns. At night, Yi-an struggles to sleep, finding comfort in Thunder's presence by camping out in the back of the car. The next day brings a surprise. A new spaceship is heading towards Earth. Do Seok, a cop, is on duty, but he's feeling really dizzy. He makes a big mistake by shooting a criminal who wasn't armed. This lands Do Seok in trouble at the police station. Strangely, the criminal walks free. But then Do Seok overhears some co-workers talking about buying stuff from the criminal later. He shows up at their illegal deal and does something really bad. He ends up harming them all. It seems like Do Seok isn't acting like himself. Hours later, he wakes up in his bathtub holding the bloody clothes of the people he harmed. He's totally confused and has no idea what happened. Suddenly, Thunder detects a new spaceship approaching Earth and sounds the alarm. Then, there's another alert, indicating that the alien inside Do Seok has woken up. Guard tries to get Yi-an out of the car, but she refuses to budge. With the spaceship landing, Guard has no time to argue. He turns the car into a spaceship and zooms off with Yi-an still inside. Downtown, a red alien steps off the ship and finds Do Seok. It starts chasing him into an elevator, saying it wants to free the leader of a rebellion implanted in Do Seok's mind, who apparently destroyed Guard's planet. Guard, all suited up in his powerful armor, confronts the alien without realizing Yi-an swipes the gun he left behind. They have a big, tough fight that busts through the elevator floor. The alien uses its tentacles to grab Guard, snatch the glowing blade from his leg, and then drops him. Thankfully, Thunder swoops in to rescue Guard. The alien heads back to its spaceship to chase after Do Seok, who's driving away in a police car and trying to hide in a parking lot. But, surprise, the spaceship crashes into the lot, chasing Do Seok's car all around the city. Guard changes his car into a spaceship and joins the chase. Both spaceships start firing at each other. Thunder figures out that the enemy ship's weak spot is a bright red circle in the middle. Since the city is getting wrecked by the battle, Guard flies up, but the enemy strikes him down, causing him to crash into the sea. The alien ship then goes after Dosiok once more. When the alien finally hits Dosiok's police car, it lands and comes out wielding the blade. It hurls the blade at Dosiok, but Guard makes a return just in time to keep fighting. However, the blade's awakening the alien leader inside Dosiok, so the red alien's job is finished. It grabs Guard with its tentacles and self-destructs. The alien leader, known as the Controller, leaves Dosiok's body, taking the blade and heading back to the spaceship. Meanwhile, Thunder leaves Yi-On in the car and rushes to check on Guard. He tries to recharge Guard with his own energy, but he doesn't have much to give without risking his own life. When Guard wakes up, he sends Thunder to check on the situation. Thunder gets into the spaceship and finds out the red alien brought something bad called Hava. It can change Earth's air forever, letting the alien criminals move around without human bodies. But it would harm and even kill all humans. Guard, despite having very little energy, joins Thunder in the spaceship to fight the Controller. But the alien just shoves Guard away and leaves the spaceship. Meanwhile, the Hava starts floating all over the city. Luckily, the Controller leaves behind the blade. Guard grabs it and tries to stop the Hava from causing chaos. Amidst all this chaos, Thunder rushes to shield Yi-On, who's been spotted by the Controller now inside Dosiok. Dosiok, controlled by the alien, releases a tentacle, triggering the first Hava. This stuff creates a red fog that's deadly to humans. Thinking fast, Thunder opens up a path for people to escape. He makes sure Yi-On is safe in the car before racing back to confront the Controller. Meanwhile, Guard manages to seal the Hava back inside the spaceship. The haunting image of the red fog spreading through the city stays vivid in Yi-On's memory from that day. But there's a twist. In 1391, it's revealed that Yi-On, all grown up, is actually the Red Lady. She arrived in this time 10 years ago aboard the alien ship, accompanied by Jiazhang. Yi-On wakes up to a startling discovery. She's trapped inside a magic prison within the temple. Suitor and Jiazhang discuss the urgent need to find the Controller, who's likely within one of the 4 people that witnessed their arrival a decade ago. They've ruled out Hyungam and the mages as potential candidates, because the blade didn't awaken the Controller in them. Now, their focus turns to Dong-ai, the 4th person. Meanwhile, Muruk experiences those strange flashbacks again. He and the Catmen take on some masked warriors they encounter on the road, swiping their clothes to sneak into the temple. But these clothes hold vital items in their pockets, forcing the trio to turn them in to maintain their disguise. The mages procure a special plant to treat Hokuseiol's gunshot wound, while Jiazhang receives a letter revealing that the spaceship has resurfaced in the river. At that moment, the blade starts glowing, puzzling Jiazhang. The mages are intrigued, but Jiazhang dismisses their help, telling them to leave once they finish their meal. Muruk, disguised as a servant, is tasked with bringing food to Yi-On. He seizes the opportunity to inquire about her identity, feeling a strong sense of familiarity. Yi-On refuses to talk until Muruk promises to return the gun he took. She shares a shocking revelation. She and the blade are from the future. Muruk is skeptical, prompting Yi-On to reach through the food slot, causing him to accidentally burn his clothes against the magic wall. Frightened, Muruk gives her the gun and flees. But Yi-On is in trouble. The food was poisoned, causing her to collapse. The mages also fall victim to the poison, but use their magic to combat its effects while searching for an antidote. Suddenly, Muruk sneaks in with the help of the Catmen, lowering him through the roof. He aims to grab the blade. The mages ask for his help about an antidote, but their talk gets cut short by masked warriors arriving with coffins meant for the mages. Muruk fights them all and grabs one antidote, realizing Yi-On ate the same bad food as the mages. As he tries to leave, Jiazhang hears him and hits Muruk with his tentacle. In the commotion, Hokuseiol finally gets the antidote and shares it with Chung-Woon. The Catmen then swoop in, picking up Muruk and whisking him away to safety in the forest. However, he refuses to leave Yi-On behind. He rushes back to the temple where the magic wall has collapsed during the fight. Muruk finds Yi-On and gives her the antidote, but Jiazhang discovers him again and stabs him before reclaiming the blade. Soon after, both Yi-On and Muruk are placed in coffins, and Muruk's coffin is thrown into the ocean. In 2022, the 2 aliens, later known as Suitor and Jiazhang, awaken because of the red fog and connect with the Controller. Meanwhile, news drones manage to pierce the fog, revealing the aliens to the world. At the same time, Guard realizes he needs to return to deal with them. Before he leaves, Guard admits to Yi-On that he's responsible for her mother's death because of the alien inside her. He urges Yi-On to leave so he can do what's needed. Yi-On, taking the gun she stole, goes with Thunder to Min Sun's house. However, at Guard's home, The controller in Do Seok's body and his henchmen arrive to retrieve the ship. Guard tries to resist, but he's not strong enough to stop them. Initially, Thunder refuses to return to help, but Yeon persuades him by reminding him of the ship's vulnerable spot. Once they arrive, Thunder confronts the aliens, while Yeon assists a weakened guard into the car. With everyone aboard and the blade in hand, they speed away, but the aliens give chase. With no escape in sight, Guard uses the blade to open a portal to the past. The car, along with the pursuing aliens, plunges back to 1381. Hyungam, Dong-ai, and the mages witness the car appearing in the sky. There's a surprise. A very young Murok is with them, unknown to the aliens. As the car lands, Guard attempts to fight Do Seok, but gets fatally attacked by his tentacles. Enraged, Yeon shoots Do Seok. As the portal closes, Do Seok pushes the car into the river. The car transforms back into its ship form, and the blade slips from Yeon's grasp, drifting away in the water. As Do Seok searches for a new body, young Murok arrives at the river and helps Yeon out of the water, finding the bag with the gun. This memory flashes back to Murok inside the coffin, triggering his survival. At the temple, Yeon's coffin is about to be buried, but she awakens just in time, using her gun to break free. She shoots Jajang, retrieving the blade before going into hiding. Meanwhile, the mages arrive and engage in a fight against the aliens, using all their skills. Suitor, unfazed, targets Yeon, snatching the blade while the mages attempt to trap Jajang inside a vase. The battle escalates, with Yeon trying to reclaim the blade and the mages confronting the aliens with their magic. Out of nowhere, Muruk arrives and starts fighting Suitor, giving Yeon a chance to flee. Yeon's injuries slow her down, but Hook Seol senses her pain and realizes she's a long-lost friend's missing baby. The mage gives Yeon some medicine to help. The alien inside Suitor leaves his body, knocking out Muruk and targeting Yeon. Hook Seol faces Suitor while Chungwoon keeps Jajang trapped in a vase using his powers. When Muruk wakes up, he joins the fight. Yeon uses a magical item from the mage to shoot Suitor's human body, allowing her to reclaim the blade. But Chungwoon struggles to hold the vase alone, and Jajang manages to escape. As Muruk defeats Suitor, Jajang pursues Yeon, leading them both to the river with the two catmen in pursuit. Suitor, on the brink of death, confides in Muruk about something inside him. In a sudden rush, Muruk experiences intense flashbacks, recollecting the day he encountered Yeon. He had heard a noise in the forest and stumbled upon Do Seok. During this encounter, the controller abandoned Do Seok's body and implanted himself into Murok. Overwhelmed by these memories, Murok faints, prompting the mages to contemplate whether they should eliminate him as well. In 2022, K.A. arrives at Guard's home and witnesses the car entering the portal, leaving behind a spaceship. And that's a wrap on the movie. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.